Hey everybody, how's it going today? Welcome to Precision Machine Shed. Today what I'm going to talk about is just a few of the things that I've been up to lately. I know I haven't been up on my videos here lately, but I actually am working on some, and I'm working on getting them edited. One of my main issues right now is that I have like a 6-year-old computer, and it takes a while to edit these high-resolution videos, and it's very time consuming with my old computer, so I'm looking to upgrade that here within the next month or so. So hopefully we can get some better quality videos, a little better edited, and then get them out to you guys a little sooner. What I'm going to do today is go over what's been kind of holding me up here lately. On top of school, I've been busy with that, and the family. I've got some machines. We're out in my garage here today, and I've got some machines that I've picked up, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I ran across some really good deals on a few machines, and my garage is actually full of stuff right now, as you'll see. And so I was just going to show you what I got here, and I got a couple cool little things, and yeah, just give you an overview, and you guys feel free to give me any feedback about any of these machines, whatever. So let's take a look. I mean, my 13 Southbends still sitting out here in the garage, that's no big deal. But let's look over here. I got a couple drill presses, I got a little milling machine, and I got 3 extra lathes sitting out here, so let's take a look. Alright, I got so much stuff out here, I don't know what, I can hardly walk. But anyways, so I picked this guy up here, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. And what this is a 15-inch Delta Rockwell. This particular one is a Rockwell, but they're the same exact machine, Delta, Rockwell, same company. This is a 15-inch swing, so it's 15-inch, and I believe it's 7.5 from the pillar here, from the back. And then it's also variable speed. So it's got 4 different speeds. Don't ask me what they are right now because I couldn't tell you. When I got it, it had a cheap Chinese chuck on it, probably from the 80s. I mean, it was bad. And the guy told me, well, the spindle is bent on it. So I said, alright. So we ran it, and I looked up on the spindle, and it looked visually like it was running very true. So I gave him like $40 for this thing, and it's a floor model, and the table's in pretty good shape. Could probably use a little oil, but there's a few little tiny nicks in there. I did that. I had to buy a new return spring for it, which I gotta clean it up because it's a little lagging right now. And I also bought a drill chuck for it, a keyless Chinese drill chuck, which is in pretty good shape. Alright, so our drill chuck, I popped the old one off, and I actually measured the runout on the actual spindle taper, and it was like 1.5 thousandths, which I haven't messed with drill press a lot, but I thought it was pretty good. So I went ahead and bought a Chinese one. It was like $36 for a 0.5 inch off of eBay, and stuck it on there, and it runs pretty damn true now. So I'll crank it on. It might need a little bearing, this or that, but a little bit of noise right down in here. But it runs pretty. It's nice and true. So yeah, 40. I don't know. I got about $100 into it. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet because I still have my 17-inch, my big Delta over here that I haven't touched yet. So yeah, it's my 15-inch Delta. Alright, so I don't know if I've actually shown you guys this or not, but this is my 17-inch Delta. I believe it's a DP600 model. That 15 was a 15-069, I believe this one is, but it's very similar to a 15-017, I believe. But this is my 17-inch Delta. These are cool machines if you've never seen one. They made a lot of them. They're pretty popular. This table lifts up and down with a crank. I've got a head crank for it that's from another machine. It's got a number 2 Morris taper spindle on it. And this guy is in very good shape. It's only got one real little ding down here on the table. I got it oiled. It's been sitting here oiling for a while. One little ding right there, and then somebody drilled and tapped for a fixture there at one point in time, but other than that, the table's in really nice shape. This guy was replacing that old DP Oh boy, I'm testing myself now. My 14-inch bench model that I got rid of here a few months ago. And I just haven't gotten this guy down there yet. So I'm gonna crank this guy on. This thing's like a jet engine turning on. It's an old school motor, so let's see. It's kind of noisy, so. There we go. Like a little jet engine. So yeah, that's my 17-inch. I have to get that down in my basement yet. Alright, check this guy out. So this is actually a US made Dayton half horse grinder, whatever. I got this with something else I'm going to show you here in a second. And I don't even know what I paid for this thing. I didn't pay much. I bought a bunch of stuff from a guy because they were cleaning on an estate and they needed this stuff gone like the next day. And he didn't really care. The guy just wanted this stuff gone. So, all this stuff I got one other thing over here and a few things. I'll show you what I got from this estate, but I paid less than $100 for all this stuff. So, this grinder, I wasn't going to get it, but then I was like, hey, that's kind of a nice grinder. And I have a Galore 620 downstairs that I can't get running. So I thought, well, maybe a secondary grinder. And I haven't gotten this thing going yet. Well, I haven't messed with it, but it's a little noise. There's a little click in there somewhere. I don't know, there's a wire wheel on this side, and I might have to dress that side up. But it's one of the nicer ones. It's got the exhausts out the back. So that's kind of cool. Nice US made grinder. Alright, here's the next machine. I'll try and stay out of the way. This is you know, I can't, this is gonna bug me now. This is a DP220. This is a floor model Delta Milwaukee 14-inch drill press. I picked this up with another lathe that I got, a Logan, and the guy, same deal. This was a different guy, but they were moving out of a house and he had this in a lathe and they needed to get rid of it, so I went there and got a deal on it. He didn't really want it anymore, so it's a really nice machine. Runs pretty smooth and it's got everything on it. It's all original. It's even got a little sticker, the patent sticker over here, which is kind of, I haven't seen too many of those. I'm missing the depth stop here, but other than that, it's all original. It's in pretty good shape. So this, I think, is going to a guy that I did some trading with, and he will probably be getting this guy. Next item. Check this thing out. So I had, this also came from that estate where I got the grinder, and the place was almost cleaned out, and I saw this sitting in the corner on a big plate of steel, and I had no frickin' idea what it was. I knew it was a little horizontal milling machine. I thought, hey, that thing looks cool. I thought maybe it was an Atlas or something. I'm not up on my old Atlas stuff, but I made a deal with the guy and I got it super cheap because we both honestly had no clue what it was, other than it being a little milling machine. And after getting it home and doing a little research, turns out it's a, I can't remember if it's a Pratt Goodall or Goodall Pratt model 644 horizontal mill made back in the 20s and 30s, I believe. And this thing, I found a Popular Mechanics ad for it in, I believe it was the late 20s, early 30s. This machine new was $125, which is insane because I think you could buy a new car back then for $200-300. So this was an expensive little machine back in its day. And it's freed up, but it needs a little work. Table work. Somebody added some stuff here, which I don't, it's too bad they did that, but whatever. This is the height adjustment for the knee. This adjusts the knee. Cross, exact, or, yeah, I can't talk today. Cross, I'm not even going to try, okay. And then there's a, I haven't looked at this yet, but this is off of Craftsman. Somebody did this after the fact. Must have tightened it down, but it's either a number 1 or a number 2. It might be a goofy one too, but there's a collet in there. And so this is a neat little machine. This is supposed to have a 3-step pulley like on the old Southbends cast iron pulley. Somebody put, this looks like an Atlas pulley, which is fine, but I'm going to see if I can restore this little guy because, I mean, there's not much to it and I could probably do it in a weekend. and it looks like a cool little machine. And the coolest thing about this thing, I don't know if it's the coolest, but it has the original, I don't want to drop it off the table here, the original good old Pratt table vise here. I've searched and searched and I could not find one until I found a picture of one in an ad. So that's cool. So I plan on restoring this thing, and maybe I'll make a video about it, who knows. Alright, next thing is, a few days ago actually, a guy called me back that I had been in touch with for over a year on buying a lathe from him. And what this is a Southbend 9C. I don't know what the year is, but it's a pretty standard lathe. It's in okay shape. I got a couple little things of tooling with it. Newer motor. It's got the switch that goes on the bed. It's in okay shape. I'm not quite sure. It's got a tiny bit of wear on the bed, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I just bought it because I committed to it over a year ago, and the guy finally called me up the other day and said he had bought a newer Grizzly benchtop lathe and he wanted to get rid of this one, so opportunity came up, so I got that from him. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but here it sits. Alright, moving on. Here's another Southbend. Huh, imagine that. I actually got this thing on a trade. I had a bigger lathe that I got rid of, that I picked up a month or so ago, and the guy gave me this thing because he needed a bigger lathe. This was a project for him that he'd gotten from another guy that started it, and he just wanted it gone. So I said I'd take it. It's in pretty good shape. I haven't messed with it too much, but there's no wear ridge on the bed. There's no scraping, of course, but it still looks to be in pretty good shape. They stripped the saddle on up on this guy, so it needs some paint. And I mean, the whole thing could use paint, but it's a 3.5 foot bed. I think that C was either 3.5 or 4 foot. This machine, I haven't been able to go through it yet, but it's in pretty decent shape. Everything seems, I mean, the apron is loose here, but everything seems pretty tight on it. I just haven't had time to mess with it. It's been sitting out here for 2 or 3 weeks now. The cool thing about this one, which you don't see on a lot of 9As, it's got the cone pulley, or the V-belt drive pulley, which gives you 16 speeds. So it's got the dual step. I got my motor assembly back here. It's got the dual step motor, so you get two separate speeds there, and then you get the 8 times 2, so you get 16 speeds. That, and it's not as prone to slipping, and belts are easier to come by and all that good stuff. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this thing. It's got some wear. I haven't tried to take any of that out. It looks like this is loose, so that might just be because it's loose and they took it apart. But I got to try and get that. This guy will probably get sold. I got to try and get it back together and get it out of here. Alright, check that out. If I haven't told you guys yet, this is just, everything's in a single stall garage, so it's tight. So what this is this came from that estate where I got the grinder. This guy was, like I said, cleaning stuff out. He needed it gone ASAP. And this tractor he had sitting there, and he's like, I bought some other stuff from him, and I said I'd be interested in buying this thing from him. And he said, if you can get it out of here, it's yours. So that was awesome. I grabbed my trailer next day, picked it up, and it was mine. And it also came with a snowblower. I think it's a QA42A. I have the snowblower, but I need the linkage for the snowblower if anybody in the Minnesota area knows of anywhere to get that, or a whole new snowblower. Because it's supposed to snow here actually later today, but we'll see. I haven't messed with it too much yet. It needs quite a bit of work. Everything, I did get it started the other day, but I didn't run it very long. And because I'm missing an air cleaner, and the exhaust is kind of messed up on it. The mower does work. So as far as I can tell, everything works on it. I just need to go through it. And I went through and cleaned the gas tank out and all that good stuff, put a filter on it so it runs, but I just got to go through and clean it up and make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. Excuse me. So I'm kind of excited about that. It takes up a huge chunk of my garage, but I've always wanted one of these, a Cub Cadet mainly, and this is a model 1450, so it's a little heavier one than just like the smaller garden tractors. So I'm kind of pumped about this. This will be something fun for me to tinker around with. And it's a hydrostatic motor, or sorry, hydrostatic transmission, so that's kind of cool. And then it's got the hydraulic lift on the mower and the snowblower. And then it's also got a hydraulic lift on the back. So this is a neat little machine, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting it fixed up and getting it back to the way it should be. Alright, so if you haven't gotten sick of this already, check that out. So this is kind of, hey, another Southbend. What the hell, why not? What do I got? I should probably sit and think how many I got. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 Southbends right here right now. Hey. Anyways, check this guy out. So this is kind of a cool machine. This is kind of the machine that everybody wants for their home shop, but they're kind of hard to come by. And this one, I drove, it was about a 12-hour round trip to get it. And I talked to the guy on the phone for a good half hour, 45 minutes. I asked him every question. I asked him, everything I wanted to know about it. And he was like, yeah, it's in nice shape and this and that, and everything on it's good. So I went there. This should be kind of a lesson for everybody out there. He was asking a certain price for it, and I thought it was a decent price for what it was. And I get there, and it's like a different machine. This thing has been pretty beat up. Okay, so the good things about it is this is a late 80s model production. I'm not sure the exact year because there's no reference out there for late 80s that I know of, unless I get a card from Southbend. But this one has a lot of the nice features on it. This is a heavy 10. It's a 10 by 36 or whatever they call it. It's a 4.5 foot bed, so it's the longest bed that they made. It's got a flame hardened bed, which is pretty sought after. It's got large dials on it, compound and crossfeed. It has the, I don't know, is it D13 or D14 spindle on it. So, it's got the pins that fit in the spindle instead of a threaded spindle, which is awesome just in general. Quick change gearbox, pretty standard. It's got a collet drawbar, just a standard collet bar. It's got a taper attachment, which is awesome. That's always nice. I don't know. And it's got a few other things that I'll tell you about in a second, but it is wired up for 3-phase, so you'd need a VFD or I'll have to switch out the motor. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with it. Then let me check down here. Oh yeah, so it came with a micrometer stop for the bed, so that's a plus. He gave me a 3-jaw, 4-jaw, some face plates, all that good stuff. And then it's also got a Dorian AXA quick change tool post, which is cool. And a handful of holders for it. But the coolest holder he gave me, which I saw it and I bought the machine and I didn't even check to see what it was, but check that thing out. I know you can't really see it, but what that is, after I got it home and looked at it, that's a holder for a 5C collet. So you can put your 5C collet in there, spin it on down, and then put that in your tool post, and then you got a 5C collet holder. And this is a true Dorian, so that's, I don't know, I wouldn't want to pay for one of these new, but no matter what happens, I'm keeping that guy. That's awesome. I guess standard other stuff that you get with a lathe, not a big deal. So anyways, getting back to purchasing this thing, I talked to the guy on the phone. He said it was all nice, so I get there, drove 5.5 hours, and I start looking at this thing, and I'm like, what the? It's like, okay. First off, I told him, I looked at it for about 10 minutes, and I said, I cannot give you, what I said I would give you. I told him a price contingent on it was as described. So I get there and I told him, I said, I cannot give you what I said I would give you because this is nothing like you described to me. I asked him if there was a ridge on the bed. Being a hardened bed, it really shouldn't have one unless it's gotten a lot of use. And there is a tiny little ridge, just enough to catch your fingernail, maybe a couple thousandths. But on the flip side of that, you got a couple thousandths wear on your bedways. That's hardened. Your saddle isn't hardened, so you're probably going to have some pretty significant wear on your saddle, which kind of sucks, to be honest. Quite a bit of backlash on the cross feed screw. The gib adjustment screw is cranked almost all the way in, so that's not great. A bunch of the gits are missing the caps, broken. A few of these were dry. The apron assembly here was dry, absolutely no oil in it. He said he just replaced the clutch pack on it, which, you know, fine, but, you know, put some oil in there, else it's kind of pointless. And I don't know, just the overall, the bad thing, I mean, I can probably deal with that stuff and I can get it fixed, but the bad thing is a lot of the gears on it are just very worn, to be nice. The two gears on the levers down here, those things are like almost pointed. The two main large gears that stay on the levers, and a couple of the outboard gears, they're pretty bad. The reversing gears are pretty bad. Actually, the rack gear has quite a bit of wear on it, and this right here, that has quite a bit of wobble, and I can see the pinion shaft up here, that's wobbling too. So that's either gonna, I'm assuming, I've seen these before, but I've never fixed them, so I'm assuming those will probably have to be bushed. And then on top of that, the lower, I don't know what you want to call it, axle or shaft on the gearbox is missing the bronze bushings, which is probably why these two gears are completely shot. And you can see these wobble around. They shouldn't wobble around like that. All right. Moral of the story: I paid him less than half of what he was asking for this, and he wasn't asking I mean, for what it was, he was asking an okay price. But I paid him less than half because, you know, it's very worn out, and there's a lot of work you got to do to get this thing back to where it should be and functional, and be a nice tight machine the way I like them anyways. You know, you could run this thing as is, but there's some things that absolutely need to be fixed on it, like a gearbox, and I don't know, that's probably about the main thing. But anyways, so I got this thing, so I'm trying to decide now if I'm going to restore it, sell it, restore it and sell it, restore it, keep it, or part it out. I don't know yet. It's got a nice cabinet, so yeah, some nice accessories, but there we go. So that was just a few of the things that I've been busy with here in the past month or so. I've been really busy. I'm sorry I haven't been able to get some of this stuff out to you guys as quickly as I would like to have done it. Like I said, I'm going to get a new computer here hopefully in the next month or two, and that will speed up everything that I do quite a bit. And I'm also going to pick up another camera so I can get better video editing, all that good stuff. I just want to try and make this as good as I can for you guys, as informative and as entertaining, and all that good stuff. So if there's anything you would like to share with me, improvements, any comments about these machines, just let me know. Shoot me a message on the comments below, or email. My email should be in every one of my videos in the description. And then, yeah, if you just got a question in general, let me know. So, till next time, be sure to stay safe on your machines and shoot safe. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.